And Mayo wants to get past the pleasantries. Let's get to the shit. Give me life in prison and we don't have to talk about it. There's nothing else to talk about. I told you, I've been the guy for 50 years. I implicated people in government, in law enforcement, in the military, in front of a judge. I turned people, he didn't say all this, this is what I know of him. I turned people in for 50 years. Turned in my enemies and my friends to law enforcement. Did the work of law enforcement. Now, I just want to be done with the process and live my time. Life in prison. Get it done. You're not telling me my sentence. I'm telling you. Now, supposedly, I don't remember. I know we covered it a couple of times. I don't remember the outcome. But supposedly, he's clear of the death penalty. Or maybe the majority of people think that ain't on the table. What if they put a crazy fucking Trump card right there? I'm just saying. But it seems that Mayo wants to forego the process and give me my life in prison. Frank Perez, Law Offices, Dear Judge Kogan, this sentencing letter is respectfully submitted on behalf of the defendant El Mayo to assist the court with its decision regarding an appropriate sentence, and particularly an appropriate recommendation for designation within the U.S. Bureau of Prisons. Defendant El Mayo has pleaded guilty to count 1 in each of the above indictments, fully aware that the consequence will be a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment. He accepts this outcome and does not ask the court to sentence him outside the law. Basically, he's telling them what to do. Mr. Zambada's unequivocal acceptance of responsibility has been a defining feature of his conduct since his involuntary arrival in the United States. Involuntary, just under 2 years ago. He instructed undersigned counsel to advise the government from the earliest juncture of these proceedings that he would plead guilty, rather than entertaining going to trial or any type of litigation. He filed no pretrial motions. He did not provide substantial assistance and is not seeking now. They could be telling us that. I know he has it in him to work and cooperate with law enforcement, Mr. Velez. He did it for 40, 50 years. He did not provide substantial assistance and is not seeking now or in the future any motion for a reduced sentence. He has sought to be cooperative and accommodating throughout this process to the utmost of his ability, because the dimensions of this prosecution and everything related to it. And Mayo's decision to handle this case in this way has spared the judicial system substantial cost and disruption. There's a twist to that. Shout out Ian. ADX is worse than a death sentence. If they just let him go to a normal federal prison and Mayo be straight. From what I read out of the corner of my eye today, he wants to go to the hospital. Again, the internet simply, to catch attention, has to make up the first thing that comes to their mind. That's it. Quick action. Mayo pleads guilty because he's 77 years old, plus he gains nothing from cooperating. He has a family with legitimate businesses and his son is running his legacy. And Mayo Zambada asked to avoid a Chapo supermax and serve his life sentence in a prison hospital. The U.S. Bureau of Prisons runs several dedicated medical centers. He want to be, what was the old man's name from Breaking Bad? Old man Salamanca? Ding, 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 ding. That's what he want to be? El Mayo, the co-founder of the Sinaloa Cartel, has told the U.S. federal court he won't fight the life sentence he's about to receive, but he would rather not spend his final years in the same supermax prison that holds his old partner, El Chapo. In a sentencing memorandum filed Monday with the U.S. District Judge Brian Kogan and Brooklyn defense attorney Frank A. Perez wrote that Zambada accepts a mandatory life term and is not asking for anything outside the law. What the defense wants instead is placement. It is asking Kogan to recommend that the aging kingpin serve his time at a federal prison medical center rather than the administrative maximum facility in Florence, Colorado. The isolation-heavy lockup, often called the Alcatraz of the Rockies. The Bureau of Prisons runs several dedicated medical centers, including ones in Butner, North Carolina, and Springfield, Missouri, that are equipped for inmates with serious health needs. Perez argued that Zambada, who is in his 70s and dealing with age-related illness, took a fundamentally different path than Guzman and should not end up in identical conditions. Well, technically, you didn't turn yourself in, motherfucker. Relax. Now, when you got there, you said, okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. But before that, it was fuck you. Land on this mountain, bitch. Before that. No? Am I wrong? So miss me with the virtue signaling. You see how I came in here, when I first came in here, I was disheveled in a wheelchair, but when I returned, I was suited and booted and ready to speak, and I spoke. And now here I am, saving the taxpayers of the United States so much money by not going to trial. I'll give you the information I gotta give you quietly. Y'all just gotta put me in the motherfucking hospital though, dog. But wait a minute, we spent millions and millions of dollars trying to capture you. We failed and didn't make the attempt when the Flores twins offered you up. We didn't think you was high profile enough. That's the least they could do? Coño, man.
Coño, man.
So he don't give them no information. He don't serve hard time, but they chased him for 30 years. Spent that bread. They stupid too. They're a criminal too. Did he agree to forfeit any money, property? Did they come up with a dollar amount? Nah, I didn't see the rest of the paperwork. But in that first couple of paragraphs, and we might get there if I could find it, but in that first couple of paragraphs, there was no mention of me give you anything. Okay, it's my mountain. Leave my cows where the fuck they at. Give up the money. Run a president or two. Perez argued that he's in his 70s dealing with age-related illnesses and took a fundamentally different path than Chapo and should not end up in identical conditions. Where El Chapo forced an 11-week trial in 2019, roughly 30 cooperating witnesses, heavy security costs, and snarled traffic around the Brooklyn courthouse, Zambada waived his right to a trial and pleaded guilty, sparing witness and the government that ordeal. Sending him to the same draconian supermax as Guzman, the filing contends, would ignore that he chose to resolve the case. The defense also said it has gathered dozens of character reference letters from people who grew up in Zambada's region of Mexico. Come on, man. If you could buy votes, you could buy good fortune. Fuck are we talking about here?
No mommy's wake.
You could get the Butler, North Carolina Federal. That's the place to be. I think that's where he want to be. North Carolina. Butler is where a lot of federal prisoners with cancer go. A lot better than most prisons. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. He said, listen, guys, when I got caught, forget about the fact that I demanded Mexico repatriate me because you unjustly kidnapped me. Forget about that part. Let's talk about now. We're talking about the here. We're talking about the now. Right? All right, I'll rephrase it for you, Velez. Velez said, did they really chase him for that long? Really? I'll rephrase it. You ready? You didn't turn yourself into the United States government in those 40 years now, did you? Forget if they was chasing him or not. He was a wanted man, was he not? Did he turn himself in? Fuck the virtue signaling, Papa. Miss me with the, I came in a nice suit, I walked. Because you know what? Don't they sell us the whole... Think about the millions and millions of addicted Americans and lives that were affected. Ain't that what they use? So what about them? What part of them gets washed away with the man in a sharp suit with some creased pants, with the crease so sharp you could cut bread with the motherfucker? Mexico want them back. Now's their chance. What they gonna do with him? Set him free? Fucking right. Shout out Patricia, no, because he was smart with his legitimate businesses whose children are owners are free with USA rights. Yeah, they're all on the arm. Look, he said, listen, all right, you just took me to another, you took me down another road, Patricia. Not only is he virtue signaling about how he's handling this, but he said, I saved y'all a bunch of money on the trial. Yeah, but the United States taxpayer has fronted the bill for your cooperating children. How about that? You got character witnesses, man. He's a nice guy. Prosecutors in the Eastern District of New York have until July 13th to respond in writing. The sentencing hearing itself is set for July 20th, before the same judge who sentenced both Chapo and former Mexican security chief Genaro Garcia Luna. It has already slipped several times, first from January, then April, and both sides assembled their filings. It took them all this time to write this note. Zambada, one of the last founders of the Sinaloa cartel to evade capture for decades, was taken into custody in July 2024 after landing at an airfield near El Paso, Texas, aboard a private plane alongside Joaquin Guzman Lopez, one of El Chapo's sons. Mayo has long said he was ambushed, drugged, and flown across the border against his will. Guzman Lopez has not denied that account in his own guilty plea. He broadly acknowledged orchestrating the operation that delivered Zambada into American hands. But as of yesterday or the day before that, Luis Chaparro, has said his sources say that was an FBI operation and Guzman Lopez was working for the feds. After first pleading not guilty, El Mayo reversed course in August 2025 and admitted to running one of the world's largest trafficking organizations. Speaking through an interpreter, he traced his criminal life back to 1969 and took responsibility for decades of cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl flowing north, apologizing to those harmed by the cartel drugs and violence. My bad. Sorry.
No mommy's wake.
As part of the deal, the Justice Department agreed not to pursue the death penalty, and Zambada agreed to a $15 billion forfeiture. $15 billion forfeiture. Ain't nobody gonna see that. I don't know how they just throw these numbers around for the newspapers, for the websites. That's it. Leaving a life sentence as the only realistic outcome. Attorney General Pam Bondi, former Attorney General, said at the time he would die in U.S. federal prison where he belongs. His capture set off a bloody power struggle inside the cartel between his loyalists, known as La Maíza or Los Mayos, and Los Chapitos, the faction run by El Chapo's son. The fighting has convulsed the state of Sinaloa. It's a good word for it. Especially Culiacán for months. In his filing, Perez repeated Zambada's appeal for his home state to stay calm and avoid more bloodshed. Oh, he told them to relax. Barring a surprise, Kogan will hand down a life sentence on July 20th. After that, the only open question is the one Zambada's lawyers are still fighting over. Not how long he will be locked up, but where. There's always someone next in line. Maybe not the same organization, but there's always someone ready to take the spot. None of them have the names or the legacies that these guys have. The only person that I see that has a legacy that I know of, you guys could tell me if it's otherwise. The only people I see, I know Juano is still out there, right? But the only person I see is El 03 who has that Valencia legacy. The new game players are just living in the moment. No long term like the old gangsters. No, that's it. Flip them in and out. They are paper plates now. They are disposable. That sounds like Trompito came up with a number to ask for, so it sounds good. 15 billion. Hopefully, when Mayo goes to the hospital, I feel like he's somewhat of a good guy. Yeah, I don't feel that way. I'll say it like this. If anything of him ordering young women from a catalog is true, put him away. If he ever murdered one of his friends, put him in the worst shit you could put him in. If he ever murdered an innocent, put him wherever the fuck he should go. I'm a little harder of a sell. Trompito might save him. Cody. I live in a comic book world, bro. Anything is possible. Shout out Zorada. The old gangster game is over. Facts. I feel for him because his old man style reminds me of my dad. He's not your dad. Your dad wasn't that kind of monster. Miss me with the... Guess what? In Disney movies, they have grizzly bears hugging humans and shit. Grizzly bear eat your ass first. He's not your dad. Fuck what he reminds you of. He's a monster. He's just an old monster. 15 billion, they will never see it. That money will stay in the family. I know they had my ass. I wouldn't give him shit. Well, I mean, he got mad companies. Mad companies. We read the names of them over and over and over when we covered the Traidor. Make sure y'all check that out in our playlist section. That's the way he grew up. I don't think he's a bad guy. Yeah, I think he's a piece of shit. Everybody grows up a certain way, man. You ain't got to be a piece of shit forever just because you grew up that way. Fuck that dude. Old gangsters and true gangsters had some rule to live by, but over time it changed. There's no rules. Rules gone. And whatever rules they had before, they was breaking those bitches too. They weren't shit either. They just looked good doing it. They weren't shit either. They just wore top hats and suits. Tere, shy. Damn, he ain't your dad. He ain't your dad, Tere. Salute to you and salute to your dad. I know you love your dad a whole lot. I'm sure he was a good man. And I'm sure he's flawed like most men. But fuck that old man in jail. That ain't your dad. Your dad ain't do the shit dude did. I honestly don't think Trump even knows who El Mayo is. Yeah, no, you gotta wake him up to fucking explain it to him. Oh, honestly, I don't know everything El Mayo did. Yeah. Well, he, killed a lot of friends. From what I've been told, allegedly partook in very young, illegal women. Game never changes, only the players do. No, the game changes. Johnny, I used to think that, Johnny. And if the game don't change, it just gets exposed more and more for what it really is. I don't like the way they did him. All right, and then you said, killed that guy and took Mayo. Yeah, you ain't gotta like it. Shit got done. Just because they did him dirty doesn't clear him of his sins. People look at him like that because he's old. They don't ever look at what the fuck he was doing when he was young and active. Yeah. Fuck that guy. I'm not here to shoot him no bail. If he was that sick, they would put him in the hospital. That's what they did to John Gotti. Did John Gotti serve in the hospital? Mayo looks so close to death in his eyes and body. No dura más shy. He's almost done. Cool. Then go suffer a little bit. He need to go suffer a little bit and shut the fuck up with all this hospital crying. Payback time. You want real redemption or you want fake redemption?